It's important to point out, too, when we talk about our work at the American Center for Law and Justice on life, and especially because people are focusing on the cases about, a case out of Mississippi, the Dobbs case at the Supreme Court, the case we're doing out of South Dakota on informed consent, more about, actually protecting the life of the unborn, protecting the women who are thinking about these decisions as well. And out of South Dakota, that informed consent case where we represent Governor Noem and the state there in that case. But we also do a lot of work to protect pro-life activists and pro-life speech. And what we've warned you about is that in the blue states, especially if the Dobbs case is a successful case and we're able to go throughout pro-life states and put in similar laws. A lot of states are already doing those similar laws at 15 weeks, abortion bans after 15 weeks. But we know that in blue states, even in blue cities, there is this idea to go after the pro-life activists, to put them basically into financial ruin, silence them, shut them up, put gag orders on them, not allow them to just have the freedom of speech in our country to talk and to expose what they believe and what we believe is the murder of innocent children. And we're doing one of those cases right now. Well, for a long time, this shows the dedication of our work when we represent a client. In this case, not a state, not a law, but an individual.
But as Jordan said, this is when it shows that we don't just defend life, but we defend those that defend life. The case is called Planned Parenthood Federation of America versus Troy Newman. Joining us on the phone is a senior attorney that is in charge of this case, Ed White, who's a former assistant U.S. attorney as well in his previous career. Ed, let's talk about this case because it's being argued today. What's at stake?
What's at stake is future investigations by pro-life activists of Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry. So this is a case that has been going on for at least 7 years now. This is the undercover investigation of Planned Parenthood abortion doctors. Everyone has seen the videos where the woman was negotiating the sale of body parts and said she wanted a Lamborghini out of the deal. This is that case. This caused a lot of change in the country. There were investigations. There was defunding of Planned Parenthood. And what Planned Parenthood did here, suing in San Francisco, was able to achieve a judgment against these pro-life advocates of multiple millions of dollars, something like $16 million, counting attorney's fees, and a permanent injunction to stop them from doing what they were doing. And that's what's at stake. It is silencing the pro-life movement and trying to prevent any other pro-lifer in the near future from ever even thinking about doing this, because what was exposed to Planned Parenthood showed the horrific practices of Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry in a daily activity throughout this country.
I actually made one appearance in this case in U.S. District Court in San Francisco when this first started, when we started talking about the free speech implications. Because, Jordan, there are serious, very serious free speech implications here.
I think the reason why the Dobbs case is where it is right now and why we saw the states willing to go and fight this battle out again was because of these videos. No longer was it just us saying that, again, the science, the technology that we have to see this life forming in the womb and that this is a murder of an innocent child. But then we had the nastiness of the abortionists and their industry. And what it showed is their industry, their conferences, and that it is a business. And that's what the exposure here was, that you're dealing with. It's like a big business, and it's all about money. And they are so callous to the human life that they would say, even jokingly, I want a Lamborghini out of these aborted babies' body parts.
Correct, because for them, it's not really life. It is a commodity. They are making money off of something. I think they are beyond thinking that it's life. To them, it's just an object. And it is amazing to talk to these people and to see the callousness in their eyes, in their speech, when all I'm thinking about as a father of 5 children is you are ripping apart a child, an innocent child, and torturing this child, and I do not know how you can live with yourself. And to them, it's like, hey, I'll sell you this heart for so many dollars. I'll sell you this. I'll sell you that.
Well, they were talking about how they had to change the way in which they did the procedures in order to preserve the body parts, Ed, if you remember. Right. I mean, so this is
violating law.
Which is violating law. But here's the danger of this case, and this is why it's so important. That's why we again, it's not just defending life at the ACLJ. It's defending those who defend life. And by the way, we've been doing that for almost 40 years. But this case in particular has really serious implications because I think what Jordan said is absolutely correct. The impetus for a lot of these actions on the state laws that we saw come in place came in a post videos from the Center for Medical Progress and others. Now, our client was one of the board members, but they are trying to really hammer these individuals and silence them, Ed, once and for all.
Exactly. That is the achievement here. Yes. So they are trying to prevent, there are still videotapes that are under seal by the court. They're trying to prevent those other videotapes from seeing the light of day. They are also trying to destroy, personally, financially, the pro-life advocates who did the work here, and to send a message to anyone else, don't even try doing this. At the same time, that even though they said that these videos were manipulated, highly edited, do you remember that line they were using? At the trial, they admitted that the words spoken on the videotapes were the actual words spoken. So they admitted that this is not an edited tape. What you were seeing on these videotapes that are public, that is what happened. And I agree with both of you that the shock and awe of these videotapes caused politicians to wake up, the American citizens to wake up, to realize this is what goes on every day in this country. It is horrific. It needs to stop. We need to shine a floodlight on this so people see what is going on, and this has to end. And I think that was a great thing from this investigation.
I mean, this was, remember, the Gosnell trial. The abortion industry was under a big spotlight, and it was not good for them. And so since then, they've taken their $1 billion of resources to try and shut everybody up. And let me tell you, we win that Dobbs case, they're going to try to shut everybody up again.
Oh, in a way you cannot even imagine.
They've got a lot of allies in places like San Francisco where we're in court, in the federal court, and basically, if you look at the coast and you look at the deeply blue states, they use city councils, they use county commissions, they use state government. They don't just focus on the federal government.
So, Ed, we appreciate your comments on this. Let us know how the hearing goes. It's today, correct? This afternoon?
Yes, in about a half hour. Yes.
All right. Well, let us know how it goes. We'll have a follow-up on an update on the broadcast tomorrow. Let me say this, folks. This is 7 years of litigation. Can you imagine the man-hours on this, legal time put into this? I will tell you this. This is defending those who speak up for life. And we have been doing that since the 1980s. But this case is now at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which means the next stop on this case is the Supreme Court of the United States.